This is Reframing Modern Medicine, and my name is Alex. Welcome to our first episode. Our mission is to bring awareness on the evolving treatment choices for the human condition. This is Joel describing what he felt when he fractured his back about 20 years ago. He doesn't play sports anymore, but he is the VP of Operations, Executive Director, and co-director of the Neuro Recovery Network at Next Step Fitness Los Angeles. Here is massage therapist and chiropractor Rico with more.
This is the Reframing Modern Medicine with Dr. Ricardo Rivas, massage therapist, certified massage therapist, and chiropractor. And today I'm sitting in with Joel Wenger. Joel Wenger, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where are you from?
Yeah, this is. Hey, can you not do this like an interview?
All right. Hi, hey, how's it going, Joel? Long time no see.
Just for just for context, he's literally holding the mic to his face. He's got his leg crossed. He's got his arm down the back of the couch, and he got super professional. First of all, you don't wear glasses that regularly. Take those off.
I can't see.
If
my
I take
notes.
mine off, I can't even think because I'm so blind.
You'd be blind for sure.
All
All
right.
right. So let me start over. So
Do not start
you
over.
probably cut
Hey,
that over.
you know how you do this? You just have a conversation, and then later on, you're gonna edit this thing out anyway. So, hey, look at me. Look at me. Let's keep it real. You wanna know where I'm from? You know the backstory, but I'll give you a little context. Thanks. You should actually make this fun, otherwise your listeners are gonna want to stab their eyeballs out.
All right, go ahead.
People are just clawing at their eyes right now.
All right, ready?
Yeah, I mean, you can shoot from the hip.
All
First
right, so
question, you want to know where I'm from,
Well,
which you already know this story, but I'm gonna fill you in.
this is okay. So this is what I know. So let's just clarify. Joel, far as I know, you're from McFarland. You grew up there. Your parents are both teachers, if I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
and you grew up in a majority Latino community, and you had an interesting time in high school. I know you played sports, football for sure. Did you play baseball? Yeah, you played baseball.
Sure
Yeah,
did.
because you played college ball. So
Yep.
yeah, that's right. So anyway, so we'll take it from there. So you grew up in McFarland. When was that? Was that the entire time
Yeah, I was
as a kid?
born and raised in McFarland, California.
Eat
Oh
farms.
yeah. Oh yeah, as my wife likes to refer to it, McFaraway land.
Damn right. It is.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, it's a Central Valley of California, migrant farm working community.
My peoples.
That's right. It's very brown and in the best possible way. So when I was I guess I was born there in '85, and there was like 5,000 people in the town when I was born. Now there's like
Whoa.
20,000.
Holy smokes.
So it's grown quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's become a little bit more of like it's definitely not a commuter city or
Mhm.
town for Bakersfield,
Mhm.
but it's a cheaper place for people to live. A lot of people that work fields or
Yeah.
work in more like laboring jobs and things like that. So lots of just kind of small town antics. But I was lucky growing up in such a small town and small community. I got a lot of experiences that maybe if I grew up somewhere else, I wouldn't have gotten. And one of those, I think, was being able to play a lot of sports. And so I got to play football and basketball and baseball all throughout high school.
Wait. Wasn't your dad the coach though in all those?
My dad did coach well
That's
before I ever participated for him, and well after, actually. My dad ended up coaching baseball for 35 years.
So wait,
So-
just baseball, not football, right?
No, not football.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they named the field after him after he retired, and so he's got a field in
That's
his namesake,
that-
which is pretty cool.
that's pretty awesome. Actually.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But I
Fancy.
mean, all in all, yes, I did play for my dad. But so actually three, I didn't play freshman baseball. I didn't play varsity baseball as a freshman, I should say.
You're that good. I wish I was that good.
Nope, I wasn't that good. Like I said, it was a small town. There's not a lot of competition maybe, but I grew up playing baseball from the time I could basically walk. I could throw a baseball and catch a baseball when I was 2 years old. So
Jesus.
that was what I was brought up to do, and so that's what I did. But
Nice.
yep, got to play a lot. My freshman year of high school football, however, I was smaller than Rico is now.
I'm just for the record, I'm 5'7", 160, and
I was
calves of
significantly
a
smaller.
god. But yes, this is true. Keep going.
Yeah, all of which is 100% accurate, of course. But yeah, yeah, I was so my freshman year of high school, playing football, and I was on the kickoff team, and I was running down the field, and basically, as I was chasing the guy one way, I got blindsided. Never saw the kid who hit me, and it basically torqued my torso around, and I fractured 3 vertebrae in my low back.
Oh.
So my L1, 2, and 3 vertebrae basically just completely fractured straight down the center.
Mm-hmm.
But I was lucky enough, none of them moved. I didn't have any like shearing of the bone, like nothing went any direction. I basically just compression fractured. I'm pretty sure.
A compression fracture is when the articular surfaces of a bone approximate one another and cause the bone to collapse. On an X-ray, you'd be able to see an increased white line through the bone. Yeah.
This is what happened, and so it was kind of I was in a position where it was like I had no idea what had happened. I'm 15 years old.
You walked off the field. I mean, when it
I
happened.
crawled off the field.
Oh,
It
okay.
felt like, honestly, it just felt like somebody had like broken my back. If I can imagine what it felt like, if I was laying down and then somebody just jumped, double kneed me straight in the spine.
It's a
That's what it
wrestling
felt
move.
like.
That's what you're saying.
All
right, got
It
it.
felt horrible. It was not a light experience.
At this point, Joel didn't return to the game, but he returned to the next practice and played another 4 or 5 games after that. Once the football season ended in November, his back pain decreased substantially. He then started training to get stronger for the baseball season in March.
I don't think I played the remainder of that game. I think I was pretty much like out, but I went back, practiced the remainder of the year, played the remainder of the year, which is probably another like, I'm guessing 5 or 6 games. I can't remember
Because there aren't
when
that
it
many
happened.
games in a season.
Well,
What is there, like
10,
10, something like that? Yeah.
10. So I'm pretty sure it happened somewhere in the middle.
Whoa.
So then I didn't play basketball my freshman year. So I was like, oh, I just wanted to work out. I was small as a freshman.
Joel currently stands about 6'3" and weighs about 190 pounds.
So I was probably 5'4" and like 115 pounds.
Holy smokes.
Maybe 120
You were
pounds.
smaller
I was
than I
small.
was.
Dude,
Whoa,
I
that's
was
wild.
very small. And but like big hands, big feet. These come in like a baby Saint Bernard. They were like you could tell I was gonna grow, but I hadn't grown yet.
More like an orangutan. But yeah.
So yeah, sure. So then basically November through like March, all I tried to do was just like work out. I was like, oh, I'll just work out and I'll just try and get stronger and get ready for baseball. And so baseball season came and we had our first like scrimmage game where we had another team come in. It was the first game we were gonna have. In my first at bat, I swung and it was like I re-broke my back all over again.
Whoa.
I just like dropped like a sack of rocks, and I was like, so I was trying not to, but I was basically crying. Just had tears coming out of my eyes, and I just stood like I got back to my feet, and mind you, my dad's coaching, right?
Yeah,
He's coaching the varsity team. I'm playing on the JV team, but we had one team for the scrimmage, and he was looking at me like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know." But at this point, I'm just like, there's just tears coming out of my eyes because I'm just like, I'm hurting. So I just stood there, took 2 more pitches for strikes, and then basically hobbled back to the dugout, and then just sat down. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I have no idea, but I can't move."
Holy smokes.
And he was like, "All right." So then that kind of.
Whoa. Well, hold on, back up. So were there any images taken, like when you were in football? Did they say like?
Oh no. This
Ah,
archaic age, bro. Everybody was literally like,
walk it
"Oh,
off.
what are you? Oh, dude.
Oh,
Yeah, don't be a like, you gotta play, bro." And I was like, all right. I mean, yeah, everybody, yeah, exactly.
hit the weights.
Yeah.
You need to cycle more.
Dude, yeah, exactly. You know what you need to do, bro.
Cycle more. Knock it off.
Yeah, so that whole thing was, it wasn't exactly like I had any form of diagnosis at this point.
Damn.
I was legitimately walking around like it had been probably, I'm gonna say like at least 3.5 or 4 months.
Yeah.
since it had happened. Because if it happened in the middle of the season, I know it had been some time.
Yeah.
And then I had that entire the off months where it was like basketball season was going.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any real like anything that had shown up that was like, oh, like my back was hurting. I didn't really have any issue.
No leg pain, nothing like
Nothing.
that. Oh, okay.
So I wasn't having any like residual stuff. Like of course during like my back was killing me during football, but then once football was over and you stopped hitting people every day and like right, that whole thing.
Finally.
This is what I'll say. My freshman year of football, I was so small, and there was another kid that decided it was the first year he was gonna play, and he was big, like he was basically big for his age, but because he'd never played football, he played junior varsity football, and he lined up opposed like opposite of me, and this dude basically just abused me for like 11 or 12 weeks, like.
That
It
sucks.
was probably borderline child abuse. Like if I looked at it now, like I would never let my kids go through that.
Frank would still say you.
Oh, dude, it was that he was probably 6'1" and I was probably 5'4", and he was probably closer to 200 pounds, and I was like $120 with all my pads on. Dude, it was probably like watching the WWF, but when like a girl comes in the ring, and then The Rock is like, check this out.
More like at that point, right?
All right, for sure. I was like a little person, and he was like breaking me over his knee, like a douche.
What was that? 1, 2, 3 kid? I think that was. I don't know if you remember.
Dude, he had the championship belt for sure. This dude was absolutely wrecking shop with me. Everybody else, I don't think he'd hit anyone. I think he was scared. But for me, he was like,
target practice,
dude,
tackling dummy.
Yeah, seriously. He was like somebody. He's probably having his friends come watch just so that they can see this dude kicking.
That's wild, man. So at what point? So how long after the initial injury did you get a diagnosis?
It was legitimately after I took that swing, the baseball game, and
Yeah.
went down, and my dad was like, "Something's wrong. Like, you gotta." Like at that point, it never even dawned on me when I had gotten hit originally. It was like, oh man, like I basically torqued my back or whatever, but it wasn't like something might be structurally damaged.
Yeah.
It was just like, dude, I'm in a lot of discomfort, but
Big time.
it wasn't like, it was kind of like, dude, just suck it up. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna be, the kid that like quit, like just because you got a little ding? Like, get over it. I didn't know.
No one knows.
And at that point, I think you're a lot more, at that age especially, you're a lot more willing to just be like, I just want to fly below the radar. I don't want to create waves or.
I was there with you.
Yeah, I don't want to give people a reason to be like, oh, dude. Like, I already was the only white kid in the all Hispanic community. Last thing I needed was to be the kid that was like, oh, dude, that kid's weak.
Look at that minority.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, white bread. I'm like, all right, dude.
The wrong side of
Yeah,
town.
whatever. I don't
No
know.
frijoles for
Yeah,
you.
nobody said any of that. But
Up to this point, there was no official diagnosis until.
please.
Oh, that's true. So wait, so you got an I'm assuming you got an X-ray after that, or?
So yeah, I went into a chiropractor.
Ooh, I like the
I
story.
went to a chiropractor in Delano,
Delano.
right?
Okay,
And
right.
I can't remember the name of the doctor that treated me. Nice dude, but basically he kind of put me on the chiropractic regimen, right? Like, oh, we'll do 2 adjustments a week. You'll come in and get this day of massage. Like, he kind of, like, it was just basically like,
Gotta have a plan.
like, yeah, he put a plan together, but it was basically like, we're just gonna treat this. And at the time, so I get an X-ray, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm gonna let you know. He's like, you have basically these 3 fractures in your back. He's like, but they're all healed.
Plain film X-rays of the lumbar spine typically have a minimum of 2 views taken, the most common being the anterior view, which is an image taken from the front, and a lateral view, which is an image taken from the side.
He's like, but you can see them. He's like, they're clearly there. He's like, what's causing you the problem, the reason that like I took a swing and like basically was just like, what in the heck did I do? He's like, it's not that you have a break, like you don't have any structural element like that going on.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, it was that the way my back had been injured, and then I was growing so much. Like by this point, I'd probably grown like 3 or 4 inches from when I actually sustained the injury to where I was now.
Mm-hmm.
So my pelvis essentially was starting to shift. Like one side was higher and one side was lower. Right. So I'm basically having my pelvis has now been shifting
Mm-hmm.
while I've been growing, but I'm growing like contorted,
But not
basically,
so
right?
scoliosis. Is that what you're? It sounds like you're describing
But it's not
scoliosis.
really scoliosis because at the time he's like, look, it's basically formed from this issue. Like you sustained this injury and your body's been protecting it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been protecting it like this, but now as you've been growing, it's basically just shifting your pelvis
So
like
it
this.
sounds like a muscle spasm, like a continuous
Whatever,
muscle.
however, that's how I remember being explained
Hmm.
when I was a kid.
You got the
And
X-rays and check them out later.
yeah, I wish. I
Yeah.
don't know where those things are, but probably never even got them.
Fake.
Probably never gave them to me. It was just like,
You know
it's there.
chiropractors. But yeah.
I know how chiropractors are, bro.
Yeah. See you forever.
So threw snake oil on me.
So wait,
No.
so you got adjusted and then you got massages?
So you put me on a thing basically like we're gonna adjust you a couple times a week and we're gonna have you basically get massaged like X amount of times.
So he'd put you in sideline, crack
Yeah.
you, and then put you face
Crack
up,
me,
crack,
do all that,
do the adjustments.
do all the adjustments,
Adjustments, not cracks.
do all the adjustments. Then I would get massage, and I'll tell you it solved everything.
Yeah.
Like it was like I didn't have an issue anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for the majority of the baseball season that year because I remember I always had
Oh, wow.
treatment. I always had treatment on Mondays, so I would always show up late to practice on Mondays because I'd try and get there as close to 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
My mom would run me over there, and then bring me back to practice. I'd get to practice a little late.
Yeah.
Do whatever had to do, right? And I remember doing that for probably the majority of the season, and it made a huge difference. Like I had no issues, no relapse issues while I was receiving chiropractic, right?
That's amazing.
0. The interesting part is then once I was like, oh, I don't need this treatment anymore, right? I'm good.
Until he stopped massage and chiropractic care for a few months.
I had an episode where I had back spasms my sophomore year. It was related to the exact same thing, but I played basketball my sophomore year, and after one of the games, I was on the bus going home, and it was like all of a sudden somebody just stuck a knife like right underneath one of my scaps, and it was to a point I couldn't breathe, and I was like my whole back seized. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't get off of the bench seat, so I was basically just laying there, but I didn't want to tell anybody, so I just pretended like I was asleep, but I couldn't breathe, and the bus is bouncing and jarring around. And so that was one of the issues that I had. And like, sure enough, I had to have somebody like pull me up. They're like, dude, it's time to go. I was like, I can't get up. Like, you're going to have to help
I
me.
throw out my back.
Dude, like my back is out. Like, I don't know what the deal is. Went back to chiropractic, solved it a little bit. I had a relapse again the next year after I wasn't, I'm not doing chiropractic for I don't know how many months.
Yeah.
And I was asleep. And this one was crazy because it happened when I was asleep. So I woke up and I couldn't breathe, but I couldn't talk. Like I was having the spasms in my back were so bad that I couldn't, like, all I was able to do was whisper. So I'm going, help, like that, like for an hour. And it's essentially like I'm just by myself and I'm just like doing this. And the crazy part is my mom came in. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And my mom comes in and she's like, oh my God. And she just turns and runs back and gets my dad, and they come in and they get me up. And as soon as I sat up, it was like I could breathe.
Whoa.
So I have no idea like what was going on. But the problem is my back at that point was the same thing, just completely spasms, locked, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. So my mom's like, we gotta take him to the hospital. Like my mom's like freaking out, right?
Course,
like,
yeah.
dude, you're like, this is obviously a major issue. And my dad's like, we're just gonna put him in the bed, but they put me in the corner between the bed and the wall, right? So like it's like this, and I basically laid like this, like cradled by the wall.
So are you so
So like
kind of like upright?
no. So like I'm laying down, but one shoulder's on the bed and the other one's on the wall.
Okay.
So basically, I was using that corner of like the bed and the wall to like cradle me.
Whoa. Oh, and so you're facing away towards
So I'm
the
facing
door.
away. Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so you're describing you're putting the bed in the corner and you're laying up against the corner, the back wall, so that you're still looking out towards
Yeah.
the door. You're back to the wall.
Yeah.
Ah.
And so I was able to lay and sleep like that. So I slept like that the rest of the night. And then the next day, my mom took me in again. And it was like, she was like, should we take him to the hospital? And my dad's like, just take him back to the chiropractor and see if they, And it was basically like, So every year I was
Mm-hmm.
having this issue where I was having these back spasms, right?
Yeah.
It was like every year around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And don't know what it was, if it was like muscle fatigue, body fatigue, like whatever was going on, it just kind of seemed to.
In the winter, was this the winter time, or do you
Yeah,
recall?
it generally was like
In the winter,
but
yeah,
it's
that
also
makes sense.
after I'd played football. So it was like I have football season,
Right.
and then it's very different than, and you're like lifting weights and stuff like that. So
Ooh, doing squats and all that.
mhm,
Deadlifts?
probably pretty
Jeez.
much everything.
That's
Back squatting was definitely something that
yeah,
caused a
so
lot of issues
bad for your back.
as younger. But
Yeah.
then, dude, I had the same experience in my adulthood, like after I was married. Like random, I'd worked out one day and I put my hands over my head to wash the top of my head, like I was gonna wash my hair, and my back just went out. Same thing, like my wife was like, "What the heck is going on? I can't breathe," and I'm like, "I have to lay down."
Holy
I laid
smoke.
down on the ground, dude. I had to lay there for like the next like basically 12 hours, and then get to our friend who was a chiropractor, lived in the area at the time. She adjusted me. Took like a couple days, same as all the other ones. Took some time to come back.
I'll be faster, but yeah.
The thing that's really been like proven to me is legitimately like having chiropractic in your life, for me, like after sustaining an injury like that and then going through this type
Yeah.
of thing, has made a gigantic difference
Yeah.
in
Fascinating.
just literally. I mean, it's not me going like, oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I love chiropractors. I rag on you as much as anybody.
You're a hater. Yeah.
I'm a hater, but I recognize that there are things like, I don't think everybody needs chiropractic,
No. No.
but I think that people who do, it's life changing, because the reality is like when I got to college and I'm playing baseball in college, the
Yeah.
thing that ended up making it so that, I mean, I legitimately wasn't able to play anymore was my back. Like my back was the thing that eventually like pretty much got me to a point where I was done. Like I was tired of being in discomfort and pain, and like as often as I was swinging a bat, like I could literally just feel my back deteriorating.
After high school, Joel attended Bakersfield College to play baseball. He didn't receive much playing time, so he transferred to Fullerton College in Southern California. There he played through the first season, but midway through the second season, he was unable to continue.
So you decided to move out of McFarland. Is that right after high school, or
I had gone. I played 1 year in Bakersfield. I went to my freshman year of college. I went to Bakersfield College.
so you wanted to go there, or that's like kind of the place
That's
to go
just
to from McFarland?
it's just the junior college.
Okay, got it.
That's basically the closest in
That's
that
what-
area they have a really good baseball program.
Yeah.
So I was uh lucky enough to kind of, I had a couple of different places that were junior colleges that were like recruiting, and I ended up there because ultimately they did have the most competitive program.
Yeah.
They were the biggest school, and I kind of had the in there, and so that's kind of where I ended up.
Nice. But you only played there a year and then you left?
Played there a year, and then I decided I wanted to come down to Southern California and try and basically leave that league that they were in. And the reality is so my freshman year of college, I get there and I was fourth on the depth chart, and the three guys in front of me had all been drafted the previous year, and they all came back.
Wow.
So, I mean, when you're talking about, I mean, obviously they were very late round draft picks, so they were like, there wasn't really any money for them. And to be honest, at that point, you're definitely better off going back to college.
So they
But-
just hold out.
Yeah, but my cousin played there, and he was the 7th overall draft pick in 2001.
Oh, that's
So-
awesome.
The Boston Red Sox signed him.
What's
out
his
of there.
name?
Philip Dumatre. He's from Bakersfield.
Nice.
Yeah, he's my mom's cousin's son.
That's
And
pretty
so-
sick. He must have got some money.
Yeah, he signed for like $2 million, and then he tenured in Major League Baseball. He ended up finishing his career out in Minnesota, but he played in Korea.
Oh,
He ended up playing like legit, like I think he got drafted by Boston, then went to like the Pirates. I think he went to Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and to like Cincinnati.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think he went to the Twins, and then the Twins sent him to Korea, and I think he played 2 years in Korea, came back
Mm-hmm.
and played a year with the Twins, and then retired.
Crazy.
But
So
he-
hold on. So you went to Bakersfield. You played a year, got out of that conference, that league, and then you went to
Fullerton.
Fullerton College,
hmm
which is pretty cool. And so you played there for how long?
I played 1 year there, and then the second year I was basically in the middle of, and I
Mhm.
was just at a point where I was fed up with
You were pitching?
my back. No, I played first base and I played right field.
Oh, okay. And you were, but by the end of that year, throughout the year, you played, or were you still the fourth?
No. I was the fourth on the depth chart in Bakersfield.
Oh, in Bakersfield.
Yeah, once I got to Fullerton,
You were starting.
yeah, I was able to
Oh, that's
to
awesome.
basically get a starting
So
job, and it's just there was a little bit more opportunity. It seemed like
Okay.
things weren't as like locked in. Dude, when you're talking about Bakersfield, seems kind of ridiculous. I mean, to be like, oh, why would it be that competitive? There's 27 high schools in Bakersfield alone,
Right. Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
then there's kids that were coming. A bunch of the kids that I played against in high school ended up. I mean, one of the guys is who's he catching for right now? The Giants. Like I played with.
Posey,
Sorry, no, not the Giants.
the Asian guy. Which one?
No. I'm blanking on his name. Steven.
Seagal.
Not Seagal. Doesn't matter. Anyway, he and I played against each other in high school, but he went to APU and then got drafted. We had a bunch of guys that played in Visalia
Yeah. So it's a small pond with a bunch of
with a bunch of big fish. Like a lot of people, all these guys that even go from Visalia that could go to some of the Fresno area schools went up to Bakersfield because it's a little bit better competition and you're
Yeah.
gonna get more eyeballs.
Right. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? The whole thing is literally when it comes to college, I think college athletics can be like this to some extent, but it depends on what you're playing. Like if you're playing like men's volleyball, it's probably a little bit different. Baseball is legitimately like most kids aren't going to college and being like, I can't wait to get my degree and then really, figure out my finance career after I'm done playing baseball. Everybody's like baseball. Like
Baseball or die.
baseball or bust, and then it's like once you go bust, then it's like, all right, what am I gonna do with my life?
Not a damn thing.
Exactly.
That's what's rough. That's what's rough.
Even though at this time he had been referred to the team doctor of a local professional team for treatment, Joe still felt neglected.
I hear you. So you played. Your back continued. Did you receive treatment during that time when you were playing in Fullerton?
Yeah, but I didn't really have anybody down here that I don't know how to explain. Like, it was almost like the people I went to, I could tell them like, yo, I need this for treatment, and this is gonna change it, and they'd be like, oh, here's some anti-inflammatory drugs, and like,
Not the chiropractor though, right? You're saying?
yeah, I went to the head chiropractor for the is where I got sent. That guy didn't take 2 seconds. It was like I wasn't important to him,
Right.
so he didn't really do anything for
That's
me,
sad.
and it wasn't fixing my problem. And then he was basically like, take these anti-inflammatories, and that's all I was being given. So I was literally being given these like double pill packs of like, I don't even know what they were. They were like,
This is what the hell?
you know when you like go into the doctor and they're like,
Oh yeah.
oh,
yeah.
like here's
Sample?
this like
The
exactly
sample
samples.
pack.
Bro, he was giving me like, he gave me like a bunch of sample packs of these things. He's just like, here.
That's ridiculous.
I'm like, this isn't what I need. Like these aren't gonna even, they're not gonna do anything.
Not gonna do a damn thing.
Put it this way, at one point I had been given like Norco,
Whoa.
which is like an extreme painkiller. Dude, yeah, I could feel that I was on Norco, but it wasn't changing my back pain.
Jeez.
Like I was like, my back's still in a lot of discomfort.
So you didn't get adjusted then, is what you're telling me. You pretty much got pills.
Yeah,
Oh, that sucks.
absolutely. And so it didn't solve my problem.
That doesn't sound like it would. So after that, what was your next move from there? Because I know it's somewhere along that line. I don't know if you'd started Next Step or applied for it or what the situation was to get the Next Step. from
No, at that point I started working for the Bally Total Fitness
Oh, right, right.
Corporation, and then I worked for Bally's for a while, and then I was dating a girl whose sister worked for Budweiser.
Right. King of
That's
beers,
what-
baby.
Yeah, buddy. And you know how much I love Budweiser.
Oh,
No,
God,
I'm just kidding.
it's gross.
So,
Yeah. Not sponsored by Budweiser, by the way.
unless you want to sponsor me, I'm open.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, she's basically like, I can get you a job at Budweiser. So I was like, sure. So I did. I worked there literally for like 2 months, and I was like, yo, this sucks. And a buddy of mine's dad owned a carpentry company, and he was like, you want to
Yeah.
come work for us? Yeah. And I was like, at that point, I was kind of like, I was done with school,
Yeah.
and I was trying to figure out what the heck I wanted to do, and I was like, learning a trade wouldn't be a bad move at this point, right? This
Yeah.
can get me through, and
Yeah.
so I ended up working for their woodworking company, which is like they're in Huntington Beach. I worked there for a year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
almost 2 years, and then got to a point where I was like, you know what? This isn't necessarily like I see a lot of longevity. Like I enjoyed it, but also I was like the whole like I mean, you're just working your tail end off.
That's why you're good
And
with
you're
the
not-
shelves. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Got
And you're
it.
not getting anywhere, which
Yeah.
was the struggle. It didn't feel like I was like getting any traction. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to school. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna re-enroll in school. I'm just trying to figure out like finish finish up my degree and
Mhm.
then try and get back into like law enforcement, which was my original goal in the first
Right.
place. And
Mhm.
so once I re-enrolled in school and started to go that route, my buddy was like, "Hey, like there's a training job opening up," and I was like, "All right, like let me check it out." So
At the time, the company he was applying for wasn't officially open.
I basically interviewed for Next Step.
They
And-
had they opened yet, or did they at that point when you
No,
interviewed?
they weren't open yet. And my timeline might be a little off. This has been a lot of years, but
It's getting old. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of gray hairs to show it. But at that point, more than you, bud.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, by that point, it was just kind of like I'm still trying to kind of figure out
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do, and so I'm like, yeah, I went and interviewed, and it was kind of like they weren't open yet. They were looking for people that were really willing to learn this kind of trade, and they were kind of looking for people that had training experience, which I was more or less like one of the only ones that came in with a lot of training experience.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because you worked at Bally's, right? That's what you're saying.
yeah, because I worked at Bally's for like 3+ years. I worked
Oh,
there.
wow. Okay.
I worked there while I was training there, while I was going to school, while I was playing baseball. I worked there like just
Yeah,
essentially it was pretty flexible as far as training hours of like what you could do, and so
Yeah.
it was a good fit. So once I got in Next Step, it was just kind of like felt like a good fit. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Gave me something to kind of sink my efforts into, and
How long you been there then?
almost 14 years.
Wow, that's amazing. 14 years. And so, next step, by the way. So, what is next step? I mean, you've given me many descriptions. By the way, I forgot to mention we have the LD connection too. That's
It's
pretty powerful
the
there.
learning disability goes deep in this group.
oh,
Yeah, buddy.
very powerful. Anyway, that's why he's so awesome with the skills with the bat, and well, we played softball. I don't know, but he was very good at the hands-on for sure.
I'll say Rico's not a bad softball player. Some of us don't have a palate for it.
I just never played college baseball, so my body's fine. I just I didn't have to date.
Every time, you didn't have to try and hit an inside the park home run every time you swung. You know that? It's really like, that's a ground ball to shortstop. You're not gonna stop, are you?
No,
Yeah.
this was my college experience.
All it took was the girl at first base dropping the ball, and you were definitely sliding head first into second.
Some of those chicks were pretty hot too. I don't know, but anyway.
Some
So
of them were pretty good. They had that rubber ducky team that was
oh yeah, those
solid,
those chicks were they were good. They were.
not straight. Anyway,
Still cute.
Didn't matter.
Still cute. So what is next step then? I mean, if you could like, I don't know, someone walks in and they're like, "What the heck is this? What is next step?"
it's community fitness and wellness,
Mm-hmm.
not for profit, focused on continuum of healthcare. So it's essentially a fitness facility for people with neurological disabilities,
Mm-hmm.
and we fit in the kind of post-acute model, so the continuum of care.
So no one's acute when they walk in.
No, most people don't walk in either.
Yeah, that's right. I guess that makes sense. So you talked about McFarland. I know to go back real quick. You talked about how
I don't want to go back.
there's 20, right? There's 20,000 people. Are your mom and dad still there?
Yeah,
They're still there. But they don't teach anymore, right? They're retired. Is that correct?
Yeah, my mom retired in 2019. My dad retired in 2017.
Okay.
I think my dad retired 2017 or 18.
Not too long ago then.
No,
Yeah.
and then my mom 2019. Yeah.
So how's that? And that community pretty much been the same. It's just kind of there's more people now there.
Yeah, it's grown a little bit. They built another elementary school.
I imagine a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's growing, but yeah, it's an awesome community. I still go back there. I still see tons of people that I grew up with.
Your uncle have
Almond farm.
There's an almond farm, right? You're talking about the movie that they had.
Yeah, so the McFarland USA movie is
that was cool.
They've got some Alina Farms almonds.
Yeah.
In the movie, shout out to Alina Farms, McFarland, California.
Was that Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner, that's right.
That's cool, man.
Played Jim White, my middle school PE teacher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. That's
if anybody gets a chance to check out that movie, it's actually fantastic. It
is a good movie. I've actually
it's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's actually a good movie.
Easy.
Sorry, spot on, 1,000% accurate.
My people.
I think I'm in it. No, I definitely got some people I know from high school that were in the background. Oh yeah, I dressed them up like middle-aged dudes, made them into dads and stuff. They're all dads now.
That in real life, that's true. So now now that you've been at Next Step 14 years, obviously you've been promoted. You're moving up to different positions. Right now I was reading online. What are you, the VP of Operations?
Yep.
The director of the Next Step LA, which is here on the West Coast, because there's a few other Next Steps, right? There's one in Florida, I believe.
There's 7, yeah. Orlando, North Carolina, Atlanta, Vegas, New Zealand, Ukraine.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Ukraine. Yeah, that's right.
Los Angeles location, yeah.
Yeah, so you're in charge of that one, and then you're also what's the other title you had on there?
Co-director of the NRN.
Yeah, co-director of the NRN.
Yeah, for the Community Fitness and Wellness branch.
Now, there's also one in Nevada, right? It's Las Vegas. That's driven, right? That's not part of Next Step, or are they considered Next Step?
They're still considered a Next Step, but Driven's like a larger branch where they already had a large nonprofit foundation called Conquer Paralysis Now. Sam Schmidt was a very famous IndyCar driver that was injured.
Yeah.
He started that facility there in Vegas, and he wanted to bring something to the Vegas community. They already had a nonprofit branch, so what they didn't want to do was turn around and take somebody else's name. So they kept the Driven name. Driven is really they offer a lot of different things. They offer, caregiving assistance. They have I think they have something with Braun Mobility where they can help with like getting fitted and set up for a van or hand controls.
Wow.
They had a yoga program for a while. They have a bunch of, essentially it's like a shopping mall.
Okay.
Right?
I need to check it out.
Or a strip mall for.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
It's kind of like, it'd be like an indoor strip mall. It's almost like a indoor flea market, but for all things related to neurological injury.
Yeah.
So the Next Step component is their fitness component.
Damn,
that really comes down to how they're training their clients.
I'll be visiting them soon. So.
As you should.
I will. So now
701 Bridger Avenue, Las Vegas.
I'm jotting that. Everyone jot that down.
He's eye to eye with me. I just pulled that
Ooh,
straight out of the brain.
Wow, that's with the LD. Look
aren't
at that,
you impressed?
I am impressed. Look at you.
We should make sure that that's the actual address.
Let me Google that. Other than that, I think we covered all the points I wanted to. It took a little bit longer than expected.
Now you gotta do the official sign off or whatever. Like, this is two dudes and one cup signing off from the back off hour with Rico, doctor of learning disabilities, and his guest for the day, Shamu Joel.
Reggae Shark Joel is checking out now.
Reggae Shark.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening, and join us next time for at the same bad time, same bad channel. This is me signing off. Adios.
Adios.
Joel now resides in Whittier with his wife and 3 boys, and at the time of this recording, he was preparing for a fundraising bike ride event that starts from Boston and ends in Washington, D.C. To donate to Next Step, please call 310-546-5666 or email joelw@nextstepfitness.org and visit www.nextstepfitness.org for more info. For Dr. Rivas, this is Alex. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.